value of having an interpreter is to be able to match what the speaker is saying.
You might recognize him from his facial expressions or on-camera energy while interpreting for BC's Provincial Health Officer, Dr. Bonnie Henry. Since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic, American Sign Language interpreter Nigel Howard has become just as well known as BC's top doctor.
So I've had many hearing people who have come forward and said, my goodness, you are so clear. I really pay attention when you're on TV. I really focus on the message.
And now the man who's gained a following and even a fan club with thousands of members is teaching UBC's first credit ASL course this fall.
People are willing to open their minds to be learning a new language, a sign language, and learning something about a different culture.
Before the COVID-19 pandemic, Howard, who is deaf himself, was already known in the deaf community. But he rose to local celebrity status when the rest of the public saw his very enthusiastic way of interpreting on TV.
For all of us, as individuals and as a society, the greatest fight of our time.
But what you're seeing, or sometimes what people who are uninitiated are seeing, is the facial expressions and not really understanding them. But those could be grammatical markers that reflect the natural elements of emphasis and prosody and tone. So, for example, when Dr. Henry is cautioning people to be very, very careful, I want to be able to emphasize that same message in the same way.
The UBC course is for beginners and it's already full. Since sign language is a physically visual language, Howard explains how teaching the course through an online platform will pose some challenges.
It's a three-dimensional language, and so teaching it via Zoom will be different because we'll see a two-dimensional approach. So I'm going to have to be very creative with how I demonstrate signs.
A Vancouver woman in the deaf community is thrilled to hear about the new UBC course.
I feel so happy because it will help other people understand the language.
And giving people a better understanding is exactly what Howard has in mind for the course.
So this course will expose people to the idea that deaf people use American Sign Language, that they're part of a linguistic minority, that there's an identity. So it's not just about a medical perspective of the ears don't work, if I can say it that way, but to see it as a language and cultural community.
Be proud of being deaf, and I believe you can do anything except hear.
In Richmond, Miranda Fatour, City News.